I grew up watching a show called Rick and Morty, and I remember when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be the average Family Guy, Simpsons, or like Teen Titans Go type show. But when I actually watched it, it was so much more. There was a crazy story alongside some crazy lore, and the one-off episodes was actually pretty good, you know? Episodes like Total Recall or Pickle Rick, which is my personal favorite, was actually pretty fucking good. And recently they premiered season 9, episode 1, titled There's Something About Morty. And that episode was actually so fucking good. It got me wondering, like, damn, it's been a long time since we actually had a peak fucking episode. Like, what happened with Rick and Morty? So, today we're gonna talk about the rise, the fall, and potentially the rise again of Rick and Morty. Anyways, on to the video. A lot of people consider season 1 to season 3 to be the peak of Rick and Morty, and low-key, I could agree. See, the first 5 episodes of Rick and Morty are just a bunch of one-off episodes. Rick and Morty stop the Meeseeks. Rick and Morty stopping the dog because the dog got smart. Rick and Morty going inside their friend's brain because there's a fucking amusement park in there. You know, shit like that. But everything changed on season 1, episode 6, titled Rick Potion number 9. See, in this episode, Morty wants to pull his crush. You know, he wants to, like, take her out to prom, but he can't because he got no riz, no motion. Have you seen the way he speaks? Have you seen the way he looks? He can't pull, all right? He has 0 hose. So he goes to Rick, and Rick gives him a love potion, and he gives it to Jessica, which is his crush, and she ends up falling in love with them, you know, obsessed with them, head over heels with them. You know, she becomes so obsessed that, I kid you not, she turns into a fucking mutated bug and starts infecting the world, and the whole world turns into mutated bugs, and the world just ends. It ends right there. So Morty and Rick go to another universe where they died, and they replace their dead selves in that universe like nothing ever happened. And that, for me, changed everything on how I saw the show. See, it made me wonder, who is Rick? How did he make the portal gun? And is he even from Morty's original universe? And see, I wasn't the only one. Everyone around the world started asking the same questions, and they started making theories about them. Even film theory, alright? Fucking MatPat made theories about Rick and Morty. How crazy is that? And I remember how in the episode, Morty is just shell-shocked. He's like surprised. He cannot fathom what just happened. While Rick is just nonchalant. He acts like this is his day-to-day basis, you know? He doesn't seem to care. And that's what I liked about the show. And that's what made the show so good. Its story, its lore, it's fucking characters, alright? The story was so fucking good. Season 2, Rick gets arrested by the galactic government. Bird person dies, alright? Season 3, they break Rick out of the galactic prison, and we find out about Rick's story. Who is Rick Prime? How did Rick become a pickle? All these things like that. Is Bird person alive? You know, stuff like that. And that's what made the show so good. It's fucking story. It's lore. You know, it made people theorize even more. It kept people on edge just enough for people to wonder what will happen next. And also, there are one-off episodes too. See, episodes like Pickle Rick or Total Recall, they can only happen in Rick and Morty. See, shows like Family Guy or Simpsons, no offense, but they can never pull off the episodes that Rick and Morty produce. Like, you know, they're off, like one-off episodes. And that's what made the show so special, that it was never seen in any other comedy adult show. It was never seen in Family Guy, never seen in Simpsons, never ever seen before. It's like it's one of a kind. And in my opinion, you know, fight me over this, but in my opinion, Rick and Morty is an adult version of Adventure Time, alright? You can't lie, I'm cooking up with this one. I'll explain more about this later on throughout the story, but Rick and Morty is just an adult version of Adventure Time, okay? And that's what made the show so fucking good. That's what made it peak. But then everything changed when season 4 happened. See, season 4 Rick and Morty is where the show started to fall off, and low-key, I wasn't the only one who realized it. See, the first episode was actually pretty good, with Rick fucking dying, and the whole episode being a hologram of Rick convincing Morty to revive him. And the finale was also pretty good too, with plot twist, them being 2 Beths now. One being Space Beth, and the other being the normal Beth. As well as Bird Person being revived as the fucking Terminator, known as Phoenix Bird, which is low-key tough, I can't lie. But the middle part is where the show started to not do very good. See, episodes like the sperm episode or the dragon episode was just not it. It was so fucking buns. Like, I only watched those episodes once, and that's what kind of ruined the show for me, you know? When you have episodes like that, your average generic Family Guy or Simpsons shows, it just kind of ruins it for me, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, they don't have that classic Rick and Morty twist. And let's say like the train episode in season 4, when they do have that classic Rick and Morty twist, they do it way too much, you know? They have that satire that's like, they're overdoing it, you know? They're just doing way too much. And that's what kind of just ruined the show, you know? As well as this lack of story, and it's one-off episodes being so fucking ass. And then season 5 came around and doubled down on season 4, you know? Not even the majority, the whole season was so fucking ass. as the finale, The finale was top 5 best Rick and Morty finales of all time, It's called Rick and My Jack, and it's basically when evil Morty, the president of the Citadel, just throws everything to shit. He Allahu Akbars the fucking Citadel and escapes the central finite curve, which is actually like so fucking cool to see. As well as Rick and Morty being trapped on the Citadel, left to die. Clearly like setting up season 6, as well as, leaving season 5 in a really, really good cliffhanger. And then season 6 came along, and the first episode was actually pretty good, with them setting up Prime Rick to be the main bad guy. And that's pretty much all season 6 did. The rest of the season, however, was really good, but it was just your average generic one-off episodes that you could find in Family Guy or Simpsons, Nothing like super crazy or super like outstanding compared to the previous seasons. And that's all it ever did, It just built off to Prime Rick, It just set him up to be the next big bad. And that's what kind of ruined the show, It's lack of story, it's lack of lore, and it's one-off episodes being generic to fucking ass. And that's what happens when in season 3, when you just tell the whole story. Yes. So in season 3, the first episode, they explain Rick's backstory. And then as the seasons go on, the galactic government gets, destroyed, as well as evil Morty leaving the central finite curve. So then who is your big bad? And what other character arcs can you really explore? Best character arc is kind of like done, as well as Jerry's and all these other characters. So what else can you really do with the story? And that's what I was like doubting myself. Like, what else can they do besides Prime Rick? And are they just gonna like milk out Prime Rick till like the wheels fall off from the show, until like the show just falls off? Are they just gonna keep milking him out or something? Like, I had my doubts, I thought that they couldn't like pull it off, but then everything changed when season 7 came along. See, season 7 of Rick and Morty is where the show started to lock in and find its ground. See, the first episode with Mr. Poopy Butthole, Huge Jackman, and the Predator was low-key fucking good, as well as season 7, episode 5, which has to be top 3 best Rick and Morty episodes of all time. It's basically Rick and Morty and evil Morty confronting Prime Rick, and that episode was so fucking good. And a lot of people thought that it was gonna happen at the end of the season or the end of the show, not in the middle of the fucking season. So it came to my shock when I first watched this, and I like how when after Rick kills Prime Rick, he doesn't feel any satisfaction. He doesn't feel any joy, any happiness. He just feels empty, And that's what I like to see, Peak fucking writing. We get to see a human side of Rick for some time and see that even after he got his revenge, it didn't change anything, Diane didn't come back, and all the people he lost didn't really return. He just felt empty. And that's like peak fucking writing there. As well as the final episode of season 7, titled No More Mort. See, in this episode, we get to explore Rick and Morty as just human beings, They get to come face to face with their fears, their insecurities, their past, their demons, and all that. And low-key, that's fucking peak, Seeing Morty overcome his fear of just being a sidekick is actually really good to see. As well as Rick coming face to face with Diane and letting her go, That was actually really good too. And I like how they're actually developing these characters, You think you know them, but there's more to them that meets the eye. And that's what I like to see. As well as season 8. Season 8, there was just nothing much, It was just your average generic Rick and Morty season, kind of like season 6. But the finale was pretty good. And I like how Beth comes face to face with, Diane and everyone else and whatnot. As well as the James Gunn episode and the Matrix episode, Those 2 episodes was pretty good. But the Easter episode was fucking ass, But yeah, season 8 was just generic. And then season 9, currently there's only like 2 episodes at the time of recording. But the first 2 episodes of season 9 might be better than the entirety of season 8, The first episode titled There's Something about Morty was actually pretty fucking good. And I like how they explore evil Morty more and the relationship between Rick and, the normal Morty. And that was actually pretty good to see. Him getting arrested by the time government for, stopping time and whatnot. And I like how in episode 2, we get to explore Rick as a human, That sometimes he retreats and tries to live a normal life, but he falls back to that same scientific madness. And that's what made Rick so good, I like to see his human side more. Him trying to be human, him trying to be normal, but him accepting the fact that he can never be normal, And that's what I like to see. Them, further developing these characters, especially that Jerry episode all the way back in season 8, That was pretty good too. And that's what made Rick and Morty better again, They added more to the story, they further developed the characters, as well as adding more lore, and the one-off episodes being somewhat pretty fucking good, And now they're setting up more things, and it's actually making me surprised to see that they're actually doing more with the show. Even after evil Morty, escaped the central finite curve, even though Prime Rick is dead, there's still more to explore about the show, and that's what I like to see. So anyways, please guys, like and subscribe, and, comment down below, what is your favorite season of Rick and Morty, and do you guys agree with me or not? Anyways, thanks for for watching this video. Have a nice day, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye.